That top five as Elliott Sadler takes to the track in the Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford. Elliott has one second place start here, and he has a string of 7 top 10s out of 11 races grouped together, but it's been a while since he had a top 10 start. That was when he started outside pole here in 2007.
He was pretty decent in practice. All the Richard Petty cars were pretty respectable. He was sitting back there 16th quickest. He had run a 29.51, and right now, going off into turn 3, 199, 200, just clicked at 200. He's flirting with that front row. In fact, he's flirting with the pole now.
Yeah, he lose a little off that corner right there.
It's going to be a great lap for him now.
These old boys, the Hunts Brother Pizza guys, they're all out of Nashville. A bunch of good guys.
Well, they'll like this.
Good job, Bubba.
Bubba.
28.96 as Mark Martin in the GoDaddy.com Chevy makes its run. Qualifying for the first Southern 500 was done over a period of 15 days, and your speed was the average of 4 laps. Curtis Turner was fastest on day 1. He won the pole. Wally Campbell on day 13 was the fastest qualifier. He started 60th. The slowest qualifier, Johnny Mance, slowest in the field, earned the 43rd position, but ended up winning the Southern 500 by 9 laps because his little Plymouth didn't blow out passenger car tires like everybody else. He was running those 6-ply truck tires, and they held up. Johnny Mance the winner, Curtis Turner the pole sitter, and here's another pole sitter who was not here in 1950. And here's Kyle Busch, just won the pole for the nationwide race. He said he would have to drive a very different lap in this car to win this pole.
He was the fastest in practice at a 21.70. 21.70 will put you way back right now.
6th with a 46 on lap 1.
Remember, he just got out of that nationwide car. It might take that first lap for him to get comfortable in this car.
Tell you what, though, he's looking pretty good. He's got a little bit of he's got over a 10th cushion coming off. I mean, this is going to be down in the 20s, it looks like.
This is bad fast. 21-24, Kyle Busch.
Well, I would say that the benchmark got set for Grand Marshals last week in Michigan with those Adam Sandler and Kevin James.
It took 2 of them to do it, but they did take it to another level.
Yes, they did.
You know, whether you liked it or not, it was kind of fun to watch.
It was entertaining, yes, sir.
And they didn't just walk up there and decide they were going to do that right at the last minute either. They've been working on that little deal.
Well, Jeff Gordon, a 5-time winner here, also a 5-time pole sitter. He's led 427 laps.
I got to believe this could be one of those hey, watch this laps. Didn't look good there, though. Hey, watch this. He locked up that left front getting in there. Locked up the right there. Ooh, that wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
Didn't seem to hurt him too bad at all.
Well, he cut half the corner off. Down through here is this just makes all the difference in the world. Can you get down through here and get into this turn 10 back here?
He's normally pretty good through turn 11. That could be a huge difference for him.
Right now, he's looking pretty darn good. See what he does here. If he can get in here, out a little wide, that's a good road course entry there, driver entry. Putting the power down.
He made sure he didn't overdrive the entrance, and I think that's going to be the difference right there.
All right, good slow down here. Good slow down.
That does it. 76.690.
As remember, he's coming off that great finish at Richmond just last week.
This is going to be a pole contender right here. Marcus had a great practice session. He's got some momentum coming out of a top 5 finish last week at Richmond.
Yeah, he only needs about a 1/10 of a second over what he ran in practice to be able to do that. Of course, he's not going to happen on this first lap. Just getting everything warmed up and ready to go. And right here's where literally the second lap starts. Right now when you get back to the throttle.
And the tracker's going south, which is not a good indicator.
No, that's okay. You want to watch this first segment of this tracker. See, that's kind of indicating how much speed he carried off turn 4, and you see it staying up there pretty good. Losing a little bit of time in 1 and 2.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to get the throttle back down all that he wanted to. So you can see not carrying the speed down the straightaway then. And there's just nowhere to make that up. You try to go harder into this corner, then you're just going to lose more time.
Marcus didn't live up to the hype. I thought he was going to be a pole contender.
Well, he qualified 12th back in June, his third New Hampshire start. He comes across the stripe now in the 14th provisional spot.
Bobby Labonte will start his 35th Atlanta Motor Speedway race on Sunday. There was an 11-race stretch where, except for one DNF, he had 5 wins and 9 top 5s in those 11 races, driving for Joe Gibbs. Now, he will be in the show. Whether it's by the past champions provisional or this qualifying lap remains to be seen.
Car's got a pretty harsh ride to it, but sometimes that can create a lot of speed and keep the car stuck to the racetrack.
Yeah, he was 6th quickest of the go or go home cars earlier today.
Good lap. He's in 21st, 29.13. Bobby Labonte is the quickest of the go or go home crowd.
So he's
California.
He was 4th quickest.
0.1.
I'm impressed.
Much bigger radius than turns 3 and 4. Much easier to get through and carry a lot of speed. And then, you get down to the small end.
Yeah. You say, I got through 1 and 2, the best I ever have all day. Whoa, I'm going fast.
Here's Jamie McMurray, who was the fastest in final practice in this one car.
By a good bit, too. He had about a 10th in the bank. Let's see if he can back it up here in qualifying.
Poland, California, 8th place start at Richmond last week. This is his 10th trip to Darlington, and his best start here was 3rd for Jack Roush in 2007, and he is on a flyer.
Yeah, you see it. The tracker is on peg right now. Let's see if he can get through this end of the speedway and keep that speed up.
He's got 2 tenths in the bank, working on 3 tenths.
Oh, he got off there.
It's going to be an awesome run.
Got off there.
Ready.
Awesome run.
Could
Get
be big.
ready. It's a new track record.
27.264, over 180 miles an hour on a 1 1/3 racetrack.
That's a
Good run by Elliott Sadler, the fastest of 5 Ford drivers to qualify. Sadler 7th overall is Casey Kane, and
number 9 ready to go come Sunday.
Yeah, this car usually, they usually got a pretty good qualifying package. Most every week this car gets somewhere up in the top 5.
Well, right now, coming down the back straightaway, he's running quick enough to be 2nd fastest. Give back just a little bit into the straightaway.
It's another one of those combinations. I think it really works well. Casey Kane and Kenny Francis, they communicate well. They believe in each other. They're a good little team. Good lap.
4th overall. So Kane now the quickest Ford.
By Ford. Best finish on a 1.5 mile track is 10th at home last November. Excuse me, at Homestead last November. He's finished 25th the last 2 times out.
He stayed up in the top 10 for most of that practice session. Near the end, we had a lot of guys laying down practice qualifying runs. He ended up 20th quickest at a 29.57.
Never had a top 30 start here in 4 attempts. See how this goes.
He looks like he's about 2 tenths off, a little better than 2 tenths off of what Casey Kane ran, his teammate.
29.20 for the digger, 189.8.
Right in behind Menard there.
HendrickCars.com, number 5, has been racing at Richmond since 1981, when he started from the pole in his first ever Cup race here.
Mark has always been a good qualifier, and particularly on the short tracks.
Yeah, I think in '81 he ran about 4 or 5 races and sat on a couple of poles, I think, that year out of the 4 or 5 races he started.
And those were his own cars, built them himself.
Remember, he raced 81, 2, and 3, and then was out of the sport for 4 years before coming back with Jack Roush in 1988.
Crew chief was Banjo Graham, I think his name was.
That's right.
Young kid.
First lap was a 21.52, picks it up about a 1/2 tenth, makes him.
Yeah, and I think Wisconsin's going down at Iowa this week, too. Just to let you know.
Got against the curve there at Montoya. He was really quick. I mean, he was the quickest car most of the practice session. Late in the session, a few cars outran him, but
yeah. The only thing I point out is he did that early, his very first time out on the racetrack, and never was able to back up that time. So we don't really know if he can get back to that time. Looking pretty good here, though.
Oh, this is going to be close. Oh, so close as he comes across the line. White flag out. First lap. Good enough for the 3rd spot.
Have to be perfect here on the 2nd lap now if he wants to pick it up.
Yeah, and what we're seeing is Marcus Ambrose did a great job of getting off turn 4, so they're going to have a pretty good cushion if they're going to beat him.
Coming for the stripe. Nope, it's not going to be good enough. He lost 700ths on the second lap, so Montoya, right where he practiced earlier.
That Nationwide car, jumping into this car, such a huge difference in performance, horsepower-wise.
2 Nationwide wins and now 3 poles in that series here.
He was second quickest behind Jamie McMurray in that very last practice session that we had not too long ago, and you can see right now,
look at that throttle
through
track.
1 and 2,
out a little bit right
he's
there.
a
Not
tenth
much.
and a half to the good, so he's not only on a pole run, he's on a track record run if he gets through 3 and 4.
Big if.
27.394 is the track record held by Matt Kenseth.
He got it.
Well, I'm telling you, he's losing
Got it.
ground. He lost ground late exit. He just kept
he did.
losing ground through turn 4.
And
He
it
looks
is
so
not
good.
a new track record.
Nope.
He
but
looks
it is
so good, Larry.
Cause that's very important to Elliott. As Kurt Busch comes onto the speedway, and right away he is on it in the Blue Deuce.
Now he missed turn 1 big time. I don't know if he intended to do that or not. I think not. I believe he'll tell you the sun may have caused him to get up the hill there.
He has 2 outside front row starts here.
Including a year ago when he went on to lead about 234 of 320-something laps.
Well, he's not going to be happy with this little ride.
Seventh quickest.
Brian Vickers is.
To me, I thought it was kind of interesting that 50%, 6 of them have got wins here, and the other 50% don't have a win here. And the one that kind of like popped out, I think we've already talked about it, was Jimmy Johnson.
I started to show him how to put that air hose in that filler neck back there.
Work on the gas tank.
France came up to me, Bill France Jr. came up to me and said, I'd like to know one thing. How do you go so far on a tank of fuel? I said, I got more than anybody else.
Yeah, that's when you about got us all in trouble.
Well,
it was funny at the time.
He thought it was funny.
Yeah, until he went over and told his inspectors to go tear our fuel cell apart.
Then he wanted to know why your gas was blue that one time.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
Lowe's Chevrolet, the defending Sprint Cup champion and the point leader, has never started worse than 18th in 13 races here at Texas.
But at the same time, trying to make sure you're at full song when you get back over here to this start-finish line.
Yeah, it just knocks that new off those tires. It just gives you a little comfort when you get to the 3rd turn. And looks like it's giving him
speed, too.
Giving him a lot of comfort.
Yeah, it's going the other way.
Yeah, you heard the throttle. You could hear him kind of getting in and out of it. Couldn't quite get back to it.
Can he knock one of those Fords off the front row?
It's going to be good. But
not one of them.
Did it. Second. By 3 1,000ths of a second, he misses Greg Biffle for the pole.
Unbelievable.
5:45 scheduled to take time here. We mentioned just a moment ago, Mark, never a winner here on this tricky triangle, but second 6 times. 47 starts in all for Martin here at Pocono.
Steve, he nailed turn 1. I mean, he really made up a lot of ground down through there. Car didn't, it bobbled a little bit, but he never got out of the throttle, and he's really hustling around this 3-corner racetrack here at Pocono.
You know, it was interesting to listen to Mark's post-race comments at Indianapolis. He actually fired back at the media just a little bit about his performance. He said, you know, I'm happy the way we're running right now. But I guess it's like I tell Brandon all the time. At the end of the day, the box score is what counts. And when you look at his last 7 races, his best finish was 11th.
Caught up and dropped to 16th in the points.
Sounded fast when he went by here, I can tell you that.
He was very confident. When we talked to him about this car, he was 3rd quickest in that final practice. I don't think it's going to come close on lap 1. We'll have to see what happens on lap 2. 21.63, that puts him, or 57 puts him 8th quickest.
See what kind of air pressure Zippy put him out there on. If you put that pressure down just a little wee bit, that first lap won't be all that great. Kind of hoping that car will come in on the second one. Let's see if it does or not.
It's going to be better than lap 1, but it will not be a pole run. He's going to go to 5th quickest to a 53.
I think Darrell's going fishing, and the problem is you and I are biting.
Yeah, we are. Matt Kenseth, the two-time winner here. And Jeff, we've talked about it over the years. This has always been a great racetrack for the Roush Fenway drivers. And
it's not a great lap.
Not a great lap.
He went into turn 1. I don't think the car ever turned. It just took off up the racetrack with him.
But Larry, Darrell, you got to believe what we're hearing when Larry said the racetrack is getting so hot down there right now that these guys have come with a setup that they put under it when it was nice and cloudy, thinking it's going to be this way, and now all of a sudden they're going to have to hang on to it and do the best they can. And currently he is 14th quickest.
Yep.
Wow, Kenseth is slower than all but one driver, Kevin Conway.
It's not unusual to see this car not qualify up near the front. I mean, don't count old Rudy Tootie here out either, because I tell you, he's a good qualifier and he gets around here really well too.
Didn't practice all that well, Darrell. He was 25th in practice, and he does not yet have a top 15 start here. Let's see if tonight's the night.
Yeah, his best start is 18th 1 year ago. Did have a good run here in the fall, though. Had a top 5 run.
Yeah, it's going up the hill right there, and that's not planned. Car just kind of shoves the nose up the hill, kills the speed off the corner.
This week it's the Mitsubishi Electric Toyota.
Do you see the difference in his time off of turn 2 and Juan Montoya's? Juan's up high, get a lot of straightaway speed. Dave's down low, and the car just would not come up out of the hole.
It's going to be a pretty good run for him, Darrell. He's in the top 10 right now. He's 9th quickest. You know, our old buddy David Ruderman right now has the longest streak of races without a DNF, sitting at 44 races back in February.
191 miles an hour right now around here. That's getting it on, boys.
Kyle Busch has one third-place start here, and last fall finished 11th after running out of gas while leading with 3 laps to go after leading 232 laps.
And just look at that, Mike. 174 miles an hour through the corner. And let's see what we got down the back straightaway there. 197 down the back straightaway. Probably close to 2-0 and going into 1 down here.
Looks like he's not quite going to threaten for the pole, but
good lap.
Will be the quickest Toyota, 7th with a 28.38.
Car with the big bud on the hood, you can look back in the field, and whether we're leading or back in the field a bit, you could always pick her out. I like that.
Matt Kenseth, 4th in the standings, 5th on the board after that first lap. Has one top 10 start this year. That was at Bristol.
Oh, now. Whoop. See, you had it going on there for a second, but then got a little tail happy.
That's an awfully good first lap for Matt.
A strong second lap. Is it quicker? 21.504. Not quite. So Hamlin is 3rd as Kevin Harvick in the Pennzoil Chevrolet comes out. Harvick's first trip here resulted in his best start, 2001. He started 3rd, picked up a 2nd place finish in 2003. This will be his 12th trip to Darlington.
Just what a run this race team's on right now. They come in here as our points leader. They finished 3rd at Richmond. This point a year ago, he was 23rd in points, and now he comes in here the points leader after 10 races. Not going to be the qualifying run Kevin was looking for, though, I don't think.
Not very good.
13th quickest. 28.01.
Going to go for 2, but I just don't see that working.
Be great if the start-finish line was in the backstretch.
And it used to be. The further you go, you just lose grip, and you know, even though you get through 1 and 2 pretty good,
still pedaling.
It's hard to pick up.
You can see at Tracker, I believe he may be the first driver to run the second lap and actually pick up. He picks up to 11th quickest, picks up about a half a tenth.
And here is David Gilliland in the Taco Bell Ford.
David was 39th quickest in practice earlier.
And I guess in a couple of weeks, we're going to get rid of the wing and we're going to go to the rear spoiler back on the cars like what we're all accustomed to seeing. Across the board, the drivers have told me they like the car better with the spoiler on it. That the car overall, front to rear balance is much, much better when you put the rear blade on it.
Yeah, it looks like the dot on the radar continues to be Martinsville, or a half-mile short track. They've got a big test at Charlotte Motor Speedway the week leading into Martinsville. But I like, if they do it at Martinsville, we'll first do it at a half-mile, then we'll go to Phoenix a 1 mile, then the Texas a 1.5 miles, and then the Talladega.
Gilliland is 27th with a lap of 29:43
as well.
Yeah, I was inducted. I was in '98. He was inducted. He'd been inducted in the Hall of Fame before, but he got Athlete of the Century when I was inducted in '98. So I was there that night. Awesome night.
Is Secretariat also in that Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Here's Carl Edwards in the Scots number 99. 8th at Bristol is his best 2010 start, and he is just outside the chase right now in 13th position in the Sprint Cup standings.
And I don't think they ever did really find what they were looking for in that practice earlier as well. First lap 21:55. He'll slow down a little bit, as Mike pointed out, when the track went. DW, I think Gil Martin, this 29 team, they have maxed out the amount of camber you can put in those front tires.
I think that you can see that left front is, I mean, absolutely looks like something's broken. But really, Larry, we used to straighten the tires up for qualifying. That way you had more rubber on the track. The tires are brand new. And when you get to a corner and you apply the brakes, you're not riding on the edge of the tire. The whole tire would sit down, the car would stop much straighter, and it didn't seem to hurt the performance around the racetrack.
But then when you change the camber back for the race?
For the race, so yeah. That way, you know, for the race you wanted it to cut, and your pace was different. A lot of things were different.
And then adjusting the camber to turn left will almost hurt you to the right, so you try to find that balance there, and as the car travels down, it gains a whole lot more negative camber. Tire really goes in at the top.
Sounds like NASCAR performance to me.
Yes, sir. 2 airings this week.
I'll record them both.
Saturday night and Sunday morning. It's going to be a good lap for Kevin if he can get through 10 and 11. He was 5th quickest in practice earlier.
God, those tires, man. He got it. He sailed around there, I can tell you. See what he can do right here and keep that back end up under him. I tell you, that's a nice
Went through
corner.
there pretty good.
It's a nice corner.
Not going to be a pole run, but he's going to be right near the front when this thing's said and done.
Pretty good job right there.
Wow,
Bruce.
fourth overall for Kevin Harvick.
Nice job.
7 car Hornish, 10th overall of 26 drivers.
This has been a pretty good track for Sam Hornish lately as we watch Kyle Busch in the 18 car start his run. You go back to both races last year for Sam, top 10 finishes, finished 11th here in June and led about 16 laps late in that race.
12 wins already for Kyle Busch this season. 2 in the trucks, 8 in the Nationwide Series, and 2 in the Cup Series.
Well, he's not going to be very good. You heard him when he came on the radio, but you could also see it with the body language of that race car. That car is loose, Steve.
Set on the pole here in June and finished 2nd to his teammate Denny Hamlin. This is a brand new race car for Kyle. And we talk about his wins. His win in that Nationwide Series race last week at ORP was his 74th career win in the top 3 series. 53.35, about mid-pack right now, 16th.
Yeah.
Chevrolet, 10 top 10 finishes in 16 Richmond starts. And he's 18th in the standings.
Krista interviewed him during one of our practice sessions. Brand new car for Stewart Haas's 39 car here this weekend. Working on a pretty sporty first lap with this 39 car.
Larry, I heard one of the crew chiefs of one of the children's cars said that they roll out a new car every 3rd week.
Wow.
So now don't let that get back to Richard. It would be good if he knew that, but that's what they do.
4th for Newman. He misses 3rd by 0.5 1/100th.
And that's about the 3rd quickest first lap.
He's looking for more.
We got in that throttle hard. I don't think it's going to quite be a pole, but she's going to be a good one.
Moves to the inside of row 2. 21.387 to Brad Keselowski.
Laid down a good qualifying run last week at Vegas, qualified 15th.
All right, to lock in right now, you need to beat 29.31. That's Mike Bliss. That is the green line, is Bobby Labonte. So Bliss right now is 30th. Joe's got a little work to do.
He's got a lot of work to do.
I don't see that happening.
He's on pace to run about a 50.
He's actually losing time.
I don't think a 50 will do it.
I mean, right now,
a little bit right there.
A 29.11 is 20th, and a 29.31 is not locked in this show right now.
34th for Nemechek, a 29.34. Nice pickup from turn 4 to the finish line, but the only car he's beaten right now is Eric Almirola. So lap 2 is a must for Nemechek.
We lost there, but he ought to pick it up off of 4 here if the car will stick for him.
Times are very close right in that area. That's why the tracker's jumping back and forth. He's going to do it.
He's going to pick up. Yep.
Not enough to move him ahead of Scott Speed. A 29.324. Tony Stewart, the Office Depot Old Spice Chevy. Tony had the first of his 37 Cup wins come here in the fall of 1999. You know, it's not June yet. Maybe it's just not time for him to win yet. It's one of those late blooming flowers every spring, or so it seems. Not that Tony would want to be compared to a flower.
Yeah, go back to last year. It was the All-Star race.
That's right.
That catapulted those guys into the summer months.
Okay, mid-May. Yeah. Let's say mid-May. Well, it's mid-May almost.
They made a change on that car. Remember, Krista was talking to him, and they put a right rear spring in the car. I know that when he went back out after that change, he didn't run as well. So see how he ends up here with this setup he's got now.
Oh, way better on the second lap.
Yeah, 21.78 on lap 1. He's flirting inside the top 10. If he gets off, didn't quite get off turn 4 that great, but he's going to end up 13th quickest at a 21.48. Picked up 3/10 on his second lap.
Practice, we just got to make sure we do the right things here, qualifying, and get us a good lap in.
Former winner, Bobby Labonte, guys. And as you finish up, Joey Logano out on track right now. Qualified 7th last October and finished 12th in that race.
More important, he finished 2nd in the spring race here. I know in talking to Mike Ford that both the 20 and the 18 decided to move over and put the setup that the 11 was running. Now, they still don't have Denny Hamlin in the car. I think he's a big part of that. But in talking to Kyle Busch, he felt like that it was a big part of his success of running well here in the spring race. And, of course, Joey finished 2nd.
22nd on the first lap. Can he pick it up? The answer is yes. He gets up to the 19th spot.
You just make it worse. You know, you got to remember, sometimes you have to slow down to go faster. This car really likes you to drive it that way. I bet this will be a pretty daggone good run.
Jeff Gordon, 35th trip to Richmond. 10 top 10 starts in a row. A couple of 4 poles here. He's 10th in points.
Didn't like the way it looked there.
He was well inside the top 10 in both those practice sessions. Car way up the racetrack. Almost had to diamond it down in 3 and 4.
Looked like it had too much front brake, almost like it slid the front tires.
28th on lap 1.
Now, see, a driver like Jeff Gordon, whatever that car's doing, he will quickly adjust his driving style to complement the car.
I tell you what, he drove it down into 1 and 2, and it stuck. He was able to keep that momentum. This is going to be a great pickup.
Not bad, not bad.
3rd, 21.36.
Nice pickup, buddy.
Yeah, maybe. That's not even a definite maybe.
It's a sort of maybe.
Sort of maybe.
Well, he had to pedal it off of turn 2 right there, Darrell, but looks like he is still strong down the back straightaway. I'm talking about J.J. Yeley making this race. He can just maintain.
Don't want that thing to get loose on you. Working the wheel, and you can see there, he's in that 4-wheel slide.
She's sliding.
Boy, you got to get her back down the hill here. Come on, if you're going to make it. It's going to be okay, looks like.
Yep. 38.87. So Yaley is locked in.
That big moan you just heard in the back over there, that was Phil Parsons.
Hamlin had a great finish to 2009, but is off to not the fastest start in 2010 with finishes of 17th, 29th, and 19th last week at Las Vegas.
Yeah, they fought that car all day long. They were loose from the drop of the green flag out there last week.
And I really think that I rode out of the racetrack with Denny out in California, and I don't think I'd ever seen him so down. You know, he had all kind of trouble at California. Had a flat, spun out, got a speeding ticket. I don't know what all happened to him, and he was really down. And I think that's still carrying over.
Well, I think he's going to be down about this qualifying lap because he was 6th quickest in practice. Right now, he's 15th. A lot of shade starting over in turn 3 and 4 right now.
Jimmie Johnson, in his 9th season of Sprint Cup racing, he is the point leader, despite a 31st place finish last week.
And I bet you he and the 24 start side by side.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Just always works out that way.
Or nose to tail, either one. Well, it's going to take more than this lap, which is 30th quickest.
He's probably on the same setup that the 24 was. First lap not so hot. Get it back on this one.
Yeah, they were pretty quick in the first practice. Never really got that quick of a lap in second practice, but he really got off 3 and 4. Great, a lot like his teammate did.
Side by side, Johnson 3rd, Gordon 4th, a 21:35.
I guess, Larry, the driver has a hard time deciding what to do. Like last week when we said he should have won and done. But if every week you got to run that second lap to get in, you're just programmed to do it. And even though it got him in trouble.
Yeah.
Mike Bliss in the Wave Energy Drink Chevrolet, former Camping World Truck champ, has one top 10 start here.
Some cars been running a little bit better this year.
They haven't had the greatest luck. Had a good qualifying run and a good finish at Auto Club Speedway. Had a little problem early last week at Las Vegas.
Now the green line on that ticker at 26th position, that's the lock-in spot. That's where Dave Blaney is.
I think he'll be all right.
Gonna be pretty close to it. 29:31. That should be okay. It will lock Dave Blaney into the race, and Bliss right now is the 2nd quickest go-homer.
We're good.
Yeah, I think I mean, what do you got to beat? 3 guys?
3 guys. Yeah, he beat.
See Tony Stewart's numbers, second only to Jeff Gordon in all-time wins on road courses.
But one thing I noticed, like coming into 11 here, coming to get to green, Tony really worked his car a lot. I mean, it looked ugly. It was loose and sliding around. But I think he's just trying to get some heat in those tires and get that new buffed off of them.
You know, Darrell, we were talking up at the TV compound after practice. He even made a mock qualifying run, it appeared, and still only 32nd quickest. But that was all said and done, so this is looking like a pretty sporty lap for Tony.
Yeah, you know what, Larry? You know, you've been here enough to know that you can be terrible in practice, but when you put 4 tires on, tape these things up and tell the driver go have at it, try to tear it up, that's what they always told me. You can pick up a lot of time there. I picked up a second and didn't know how I did it.
You can see right there, he's all about 2.5 tenths faster. Whoa. Now that's going to maybe, didn't really, yeah, now from there on, that's where you start losing time. It didn't lose time right at that area, but it's from there on.
It's loose right here. See, he's loose here too. Got away with it, but a little bit loose.
Those tires are screaming, aren't they?
They are.
Now he definitely eased it down into turn 11, but let's see what he can do off the corner.
I think he may have been a little too ginger there.
Yep, he's not going to make it back up.
I think the car really started getting loose through the S's. Then it got real loose here coming into turn 10, and I think that's what happened to him.
I can almost guarantee we're going to be better when we were in practice.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
And Mike, that's a good thing about having teammates. He said I can look at their data and see where I'm off, and that's a big help.
Ryan Newman, the Rocket in the Tornadoes Chevy, tied with Buddy Baker for most career poles here with 7. In his first 9 races here, he had 7 poles. He had a string of 9 straight front row starts.
This might be pretty good. Oh, he lost a little bit right there.
I was going to say he drove it awfully deep into turn 3 and got by with it, but then he lost it late exit. But he's down in the 28s, just 2 100ths off of Casey Kane.
Between a car that's fast and something you can drive, you know, it's really hard to get something.
Chevrolet and the Daytona 500 winner. Has 9 nationwide races and 12 Cup starts here with the best start of 4th.
Sound like he had a lot of trouble off the 2 over there.
But yeah, Darrell, this surface is, you know, about 13, 14 years old now, and they're still trying to run around here just as fast as we did when the track had a lot more grip back in the day.
Yep.
That's just all I've got.
12th quickest for McMurray, 28:50. So we move into go or go home qualifying. Scott Speed will be the first of the drivers who must make this race on time.
You know what? I've just picked up on something that Juan said, and it's like we had that one little group that went out. They went out 12th, 13th, 17th, and 18th, and those 4 guys are 4 of our top 5 right now.
Yeah, I think the drivers probably nailed it. I think it was Allmendinger, that it can get too cold.
Yeah, I think that's when there was still a little heat in the track and maybe not so much sun in the eyes, and who knows. Because, yeah, things have gotten chilly as Scott Speed's first lap is 28th quickest with a 29.32.
Let me tell you something else. I know you may think I'm crazy. Most people do. Standing around all this time waiting, freezing to death, kind of all stiff and cold. You get in a race car, you just can't get relaxed.
Well, now, what was that range from where to where?
It was 27th quickest, and he's going to end up 12th quickest on that lap right there. This is a backup car because he did crash in the first practice, but he did get some laps with this car in final practice session.
And he had his problems in turn 1 and 2, and he's up there flirting with that high line there, but he got through okay this time.
And he almost did it in practice qualifying in the final practice.
Out in this car here, in his backup car, and almost did it again, but got through there okay that lap.
His teammate, Kevin Harvick, ran a 27.94.
Mike, see right there how everybody's kind of cutting to the bottom.
Yeah.
They weren't doing that in practice. I don't know if they feel like there's a lot of grip down there or if it's for security or if it's for safety. I'm not sure which.
Well, he's about 2/10 quicker than Harvick, 27.73 for Clint Boyer. That's
understanding because I thought that was decent. You know, I figured to be top 5, but 16th as of now and probably going down from there. Thanks, Jim. You got it. Thanks.
Dave Blaney has had some impressive qualifying runs for Prison Motorsports. Remember when he ran here for Bill Davis, nearly won a race here in Atlanta, but for a miscue on pit road. This will be his 21st Atlanta start.
Had it won.
Yes.
Had the best car that day. Remember the old wheel came off going down the back.
Sure did.
Picked a fine time to leave him.
Driving for Bill Davis. You know, I think we need to expand on something that Jimmy said in his interview. He's going to go back and look at Dartfish. The teams, they have people on top of the roof here, and what he'll be able to do, they will be able to go back and look and overlay his lap to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s lap, and it'll tell him exactly where he ran on the track versus the 88.
To Darlington, he has a 2nd place finish and a best start here of 4th. Has a pole in the Nationwide Series and the Truck Series, but they struggled in practice, ended up swapping out the entire rear end housing, trying to find more speed.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. All the work we know has been done on this race car, and Carl's got to be on Carl's great adventure right here because he doesn't have any idea what he's got.
I would say even a lot more changes even since that practice, because it seemed like the changes they made in the middle of practice still didn't get this car going very good.
Just having a hard time there. You can see the throttle tracker there. Just can't get the thing wide open quick enough.
28.24. That's 3/4 of a second off pace.
That's way off.
I don't think anything in the 28s is going to end up very good at all.
Motorcraft Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center 4. Bill Elliott from Dawsonville for the Wood Brothers. He's trying to make his 810th career start. That'll move him into 6th on the all-time list. 6 different drivers have won here for the Wood Brothers. That's the most among car owners.
810 starts. That has a familiar ring to it.
Is that how many you started?
That's how many I had.
He bottomed out real bad in turn 1 and 2. Yeah, Bill, I guess, would definitely be the only guy remotely down in the garage area that's driven all 3 generations of cars.
Right.
The cars that we ran prior to 1981, and of course the car we just finished running, and now this car.
And he will race on Sunday. Right now, it looks like he might have to take that provisional at 29.33.
Whoa, Bill. Whoa now. Whoa, buddy.
I think he's
might be enough
finally
right there.
said enough.
No.
The drivers who have won here for the Wood Brothers, Cale Yarborough.
These guys are really, I know they're fighting issues, but this car is fast.
Tony Stewart, the Old Spice, Office Depot Chevrolet, has not won here. In fact, Stewart has only led 3 races here, and only on one occasion has he led more than a single lap. He's only led 9 laps in his career at Darlington. He's won a nationwide race here, but he's not been that lucky on the Cup side.
Well, I think the biggest thing is Tony's trials and tribulations of 2010. Had a dismal week at Richmond, and if you look at final practice a while ago, he was only 35th quickest. And we saw him sitting in the garage area. You could tell he was not very happy with his car.
The kind of driver he is, you would think this track would be absolutely perfect for his driving style. Kind of let it all hang out.
Well, Stewart did finish third here last in the driver standings, but in the owner standings, only 17 points out of the top 35. Terry Cook, the bubble car, 29.78.
Tell you, I like the way he looks coming to the green. The car got down into 3 nice and smooth. The car's down in the track. Pretty good looking ride right at this point.
Well, we talk about it always at the 1.5 and 2 mile racetrack. When you know the money lap is going to be on lap 1, how you get through 3 and 4 is awfully critical to the net time on the lap.
Not showing any speed though, is he?
He's got to get to the green line. That's 32nd. Or Joe Nemechek will be locked in.
Well, he's trying, I tell you.
Believe he's going to get there, it looks like.
He did it.
Yeah.
31st. 29.31. Max Pappas is in. Terry Cook goes home. And it's down to Joe Nemechek or Eric Almirola versus Michael McDowell and Casey Mears, who have yet to run.
I'm a little disappointed in my little NASCAR performance buddy, Booty Barker. Where is that voice on that radio?
Yeah, what are you doing, Booty? Booty, as a crew chief, said maybe he can pick up.
Well, second lap.
Okay, the first lap I had was a 30.
Might add. Roush Fenway has finished second here 12 different times.
Yeah, Mark has finished second himself here 6 times.
Half of those 12.
Yep.
And David Ragan was 30th quickest in practice in the 6 car. So you see he's going out here third. His teammate Matt Kenseth fifth. So that'll be 3 of the 4 Roush Fenway cars going out in the first 5 cars.
David 24th in points.
But you know, back to what Jeff was talking about on that splitter, if you had a perfect aero world, which there's nowhere we go that we have that, Indy may come as close as any place, that splitter, it starts 4 inches off the ground. In the perfect world, working with the front suspension and all, you would have that thing just thousandths of an inch off the asphalt all the way across. But when you have to start at 4 inches, you can't start